Hombres, what's up? SirGiKaL here, bringing you a new video, how to improve your aim, live from my bathroom. Because my wife is watching TV in the bedroom and my son is watching TV in the living room, and this is the quietest place in the house for me to record a video. Alright, enough of my personal life. Now, if you're like me and you've looked around on YouTube at the different Black Ops videos for tips about improving your aim, there's not that many out there. And the ones that are out there, they don't really cover everything that I want to know. I know that Wings of Redemption has a pretty good one, but other than that, there's not really a lot out there. And I know that there's a lot of new people buying Black Ops, playing it for the first time, and you know, some of you who just want to get better at the game. So I'm making this video. If you haven't seen my video, how to use SMGs, you know, check it out if you like this one. So basically in this video, what I want to do is get down to the basics, the nitty-gritty, you know, try to cover everything, you know, to help you improve your aim. Now, I know what you may be thinking if you've seen some of my videos. SirGiKaL, your aim, I've seen it. It ain't that good. So why should I be listening to you on how to improve my aim? Well, I'm trying to learn just like you are. And from what I've gathered from the other videos and tip sites and things like that, I've tried to implement them, and I've also come up with some of my own ideas, and what I want to do is condense it all together. So, you know, as I'm trying to improve my aim, you know, you can do yours too. Now, the reason for me initially coming up with this idea of playing this video was because I was playing a lot with the AK-74U with rapid fire attachment, and I still can't get a hold on that gun. I do think that it's the ultimate killing machine on this game, and I do really well with it sometimes, and sometimes it just completely gets away from me and I get killed. And I don't like that, and what I would try to like to do is tighten up my aim, because I don't really think that you have any business playing with that gun and that attachment until you can play well with other weapons and have a really good aim. So what I've decided to do is, if you want to improve your aim, play with the FAL or the M14. Now, the reasons for playing with these weapons in particular are that they force you to focus on your aim. They force you to slow things down, force you to sit back from a distance, you know, not go running into rooms, trying to clear rooms, and you know, acting crazy, acting like the Terminator. So what you do is you can take your time, aim, and put the crosshairs on the upper body, the head, and you know, do that every time, because that's pretty much the only way you're going to get kills with these weapons. Now, the first few times that you play with the FAL or the M14, you're probably going to have, you know, 8 and 15 type days and 0.5 KD ratios and stuff like that for the first couple games if you've never really played with them before, because they're a different weapon, they're a precision weapon, and you have to play with them differently than you play with the other weapons. Now, I don't think that playing with the sniper rifles is a very good way to improve your aim, because that's a whole different ball game. And, you know, aiming down the big scope, you know, zoomed out, that really doesn't help your aim playing with SMGs and assault rifles. So most of us play with assault rifles and SMGs, so that's what we need to improve our aim on. Now, I can't stress this point enough. The first few times that you play with these weapons, make sure, this is the most important thing I can stress, take your time and line up the reticle or the iron sights on the upper body or head. Now, you're not going to be very fast the first few times you do this, and it can get very frustrating very quickly. So just stick with it. It will pay off over time. And some of us, it may take a long time, and some of us, it might not take very long at all. Now, when you're playing with the FAL or the M14, which, by the way, I think the FAL is a superior gun. I know that the M14 may have a sweet spot in some people's hearts who are like World War II buffs or something like that. And overall, I do think the M14 is a much sweeter looking weapon than the FAL, but the FAL, hands down, is better. It's more accurate. I think they pack the same punch, but there's FAL is almost like the ACR in Modern Warfare 2. It has very little recoil. Now, your attachments for the FAL, personally, I think that you should use the red dot sight. And the iron sights aren't bad, but for the FAL, most of the attachments are pretty useless, like extended mags, not very useful. You know, and then you have the whole grenade launcher and shotgun and flamethrower and all that stuff. Again, not very useful what we're trying to do here. So I suggest the red dot. And, you know, as far as the reticle goes, I recommend the just regular simple dot, you know, the one that comes with it. Because, again, the FAL is a precision weapon, and the simple dot allows you that extra precision because you want to shoot a tight group with the FAL. Whereas, you know, with a FAMAS, you know, you might want to get away, or the AUG, you might want to get away with using the larger reticles. Like I like to use like the circle within a circle. You know, when I'm using a red dot, because you know, with the FAMAS, you don't have to be as accurate. You know, you just pretty much have to get the dot on the person. With the FAL, you want to get it on their head. And on a side note, if you're using anything other than iron sights on the SMGs, put them down. Walk away from them. You're not ready for them. And you don't. If you're using SMGs, they're only meant for iron sights. You are completely wasting an attachment if you're using red dot or reflex or anything like that. I can't tell you how many times that I walk around and find an AK-74U with a red dot sight, and I'm like, what's the point? You know, you can't use them more than about, you know, 40 feet away anyway, and the iron sights are pretty good on the AK-74U, and they'll do the job just fine. So, you know, think about that the next time you're using SMGs if you happen to do that. Now, you know, another thing, this is more for beginners, and I haven't really seen this much, but if one way you can quickly improve your aim is when you're running around, make sure that you keep your gun up. You know, keep your reticle up at about eye level. You know, when you're running around, because if I used to back when, you know, I had a .6, .7 KD. You know, I'd run around with the barrel looking at the ground, and I'd run into somebody, and then when I go to aim down the sights, you know, you're a split second slower trying to lift the gun up off the ground than the person who has it already up, ready to go. So, just a little simple tip out there. Didn't know if you may have heard that before. Now, finally, sensitivity. I know there's a lot of disagreements out there about sensitivity, so I'm going to go ahead and speak my piece. Back when I used to play Halo, I used to play on a 10 sensitivity because that's what all my friends played with, and I thought that was just how you roll. But whenever I started playing Black Ops, I was not doing very well. Like I said, when I started out, I had like a .6, .7, .8 KD, something like that. It wasn't very good, and my aim was just terrible, just constantly getting away from me. And I read that most good players play with a lower sensitivity. So I lowered mine and lowered it all the way down to 2. And that's when I started getting a lot better. But eventually, you know, when you run into 2 guys at the same time, which happens a lot, playing on a 2 sensitivity can get you in trouble. So I bumped it up to 3, and I think that's probably the way to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos. God bless.